Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and as you know, I'm particularly interested in World War I. So when this project called Dig Hill 80 came to my attention, I was really quite interested in it, and I'm even more interested in it now. I've actually contributed to the Kickstarter to hopefully make this project happen, and I wanted to share it with you guys as well, because I think a lot of you might be interested in it as well, and hopefully with your help and my help and the help of a lot of other people, they can make this actually happen. So what I'm talking about is a project called Dig Hill 80, and it is the attempt to finance an archaeological excavation of Hill 80. This was a German observation and entrenched strong point just south of Ypres at a village called, well, in Belgium called Wytschaete, which the British troops, of course, renamed to Wytschaete, because that's how it looks when you spell it. And what makes this, there are a number of things that make this a really interesting archaeological possibility. So this strong point is an elevated position that has a pretty good view overlooking a large chunk of the Flanders Plain outside of Ypres. It was originally captured by the Germans in the fall of 1914, and they held it for a full 3 years. It wasn't retaken by the Allies until 1917. And so during this time, the Germans had opportunity to build up and fortify and perfect the entrenchments and just all of the infrastructure around this position. Then, after the war, the position was pretty much ignored. It filled back in with soil, and in a archaeologically fortunate happenstance, it actually has not been really heavily tilled. So unlike many of the old trench systems, which for one may have been very quickly and ad hoc dug and thrown together and then just as quickly abandoned, this is a system that was used for 3 years continuously. And it's also a system that hasn't really been disturbed since the war ended. Now, the way that this was discovered was in 2015. There was a commercial project to put up a set of residences on this bit of field outside of, well, in Flanders. And per Belgian law, there was an archaeological test dig done just to determine what might be there. Not an uncommon thing for areas with a lot of historically significant sites. And so a team of archaeologists came in and they did a series of test trenches, and they'd known that there was going to be something there just based on old trench maps. What they found was that this German position had in fact been highly undisturbed since the war, and it was actually really well preserved. They found a lot of very significant evidence in this, basically what is now just a field, including remains of both British and German soldiers. So again, according to Belgian law, a certain amount of archaeological excavation has to be done to preserve the site before a commercial project can take place there. Actually, speaking as someone who lives in the desert Southwest, we kind of have a similar setup for Native American ruins or archaeological sites that get found in construction out here. At any rate, the people doing the housing development decided that this was a little more expensive of a dig than they were ready to deal with. I think, as far as I know, the plans for a housing project are still in the works. They're just trying to figure out how to accommodate the costs of the excavation. Well, the archaeological team that did the original test excavation, they were really excited about what they had found, and a couple years later, now in 2017, they realized it might be possible for them to crowdfund the necessary money to do their own excavation. And if they do the excavation, it would be a full-size, complete dig, what the site really deserves, as opposed to just the legal minimum required amount that will eventually possibly be done if this housing development ever goes in. So they're attempting to raise about $150,000 to do the project over the course of most of a year. They would be starting in the spring of 2018 and then running through to November of 2018, hopefully being ready to give a nice presentation on everything that's been found in conjunction with Armistice Day, November 11th, 2018, sorry. The 100th anniversary of Armistice Day. At any rate, I've been to this area. I had the opportunity to visit Flanders and Ypres in specific last year or earlier this year. It's a fascinating place. The warfare that went on there was really particularly is World War I in a nutshell. And it would be really fantastic to see a detailed excavation of a German position. Much of what is around and has been excavated and carefully documented in that area are Allied trenches, because these battlefields are all on French and Belgian soil, and so the French and Belgian people and governments don't have nearly as much interest in preserving German history in the area as they do in preserving their own. So the opportunity to get a really good look at a really well-preserved German emplacement would be pretty awesome. At any rate, I've pitched in some money to their Kickstarter. Hopefully, if you guys are interested in this project, if you think it sounds like a cool and worthwhile thing to support, you'll do the same. They only have about another week and a half running on this Kickstarter, and it is an all or nothing project. So if you contribute money and they don't reach their full goal, you get all of your money back. In fact, actually, you don't pay anything until they reach their goal. So I'm really hoping that they will reach it, and I'm hoping you guys will help me and help them and help everyone else get to that goal. Thanks for watching.